Here I am riding to the Poughkeepsie train station on my scooter. This is the Zooter scooter, which is linked below if you want to investigate. I think it's a killer deal for about $300 or whatever they charge for it. There are several models, and mine, I have done a number of videos on this. Mine is now 2 decades old. It's still mostly the original bike. I have only replaced the rear wheel. In any case, I'm not taking my Brompton for the upcoming trip. I am leaving at the end of June, Sunday, from JFK Airport, and I just succeeded in installing the GoPro directly onto the handlebar of the Zooter. And so what you see now is actual footage of me riding the scooter, not kicking. This is a downhill, so I'm actually hitting the brake the whole time. I don't have to kick at all. The advantage of this scooter is that it takes up practically no space, has practically no weight. It doesn't even need to be folded most of the time to go into anywhere, public transportation, supermarkets, trains, train stations, and so on. And because it has such a low rolling resistance, this is all happening without me kicking anything. I'm not kicking, it's just the gravity that's pulling me down. And this is a steep downhill. So here you can see how slowly it speeds up because I'm not kicking. But even on the moderate downhill, it's going down really nicely. So I think everybody should have a kick scooter like that in addition to whatever else you have. In my case, I don't like to travel with my Brompton. I never have. And most of the people I have met who traveled with the Brompton had the vehicle suffer some damage. Typically, it's around the rear joint where there's the rear triangle folds. I think it's because they put it into the luggage sideways and the luggage is getting smashed against everything. I've actually seen these idiots at the airport making an extra effort to damage your luggage. They would raise it up and then smash it down onto the floor. So you just have to be aware of that. And a friend of mine had a scooter fork also destroyed. It was the same Zooter model that I have. And this is like I was in the train and I'm showing you how I'm riding around at Grand Central, how easy it is to shop. You can really glide anywhere. There is such an amazing versatility. So in any case, for the purpose of travel, you really have to pad it up from all sides. And I think that's a lot easier to do with a tiny 11-pound object as opposed to a 25-pound Brompton. Let alone if I should take a titanium bike, such as the titanium Brompton. I'm not sure if anybody has traveled with it. I've never met anybody like that, but the carbon fiber front fork looks really fragile. If you put that into a suitcase close to one of the sides and it gets smashed, that's just I think you're going to suffer a serious damage. So I'm not really into traveling with the Brompton. The scooter was made for that. If I have to replace it, it would be terrible because it was a nice romantic gift from my wife. But I could do it for a few $100. That's not the case with the Brompton, especially not with a titanium one. And so I scooted from Grand Central. I took the train out to Forest Hills, and I'm coming back in the evening from Forest Hills, approaching the 59th Street Bridge, and the downhills are really very nice and very comfortable. The uphills, I typically just push the scooter, and it's actually easier than walking with bags if you have anything to carry, because the scooter is going to hold the weight up, so you really don't have to break a sweat carrying any bags. On the flats, I kick it. I obviously don't go this fast. I have to speed up, and I'm speeding up even this one because this is a downhill, but just like a moderate downhill. But it's still faster than walking. The average speed I measured on this one was once again 6 miles an hour. 6 miles an hour, and if I walk, I would say I average about 2.5. So this is a lot faster. This is more than twice the speed of walking. And it's interesting, for example, you see this jogger on the right side? Okay, this is a slight downhill, but I'm not even pushing myself all that much, really. So I pass the jogger here, and I think she'll catch up with me because there are lights and all of that. But even on the flat, once I get to the bottom of this downhill, even on the flat, I do as well as a jogger, hardly even kicking myself. So there are some bumps here, and I cross the road, and I'm not even sure if it's going to be the same jogger or somebody else. Maybe it's going to be somebody else. This is a flat, so I'm speeding it up. Oh, here she is. So you can see that even on the flat, I am doing roughly the speed of somebody jogging. And now you can see the miserable low light performance of the GoPro. I would say the image stabilization on it is really good for just how bumpy and jarring this ride can be, although this is a smoother segment. But overall, I'm very happy with the daylight performance. It's the low light photography that's really lousy in the case of the GoPro. Of course, this is an older edition. I think I have a GoPro 7. This must be 2019 or something. And here I get to the bridge, and I'm not even going to film myself pushing up because I just walked up, so it's too steep. It's still better than walking, in my opinion. But once you're in Manhattan and you are on the slide downhill, or even on this flat on Park Avenue, it's very easy to move ahead. You only have to kick it a little bit. And the amount of money I have saved, that's why I recommend for people to get this, because no matter what you like, what you ride for the most part, you can always use something very compact like this. It's so much easier to shop with it, to get errands done in the neighborhood with it. If you're not going farther than 2 miles, then, I mean, you average 6 miles an hour. I mean, 2 miles is probably going to be 25 minutes or something. And you can go on and off the sidewalks, in and out buildings, stations on the ground, tunnels, everything. So you pretty much have access to almost anything this side of a highway or a main road. Although you can get on the shoulder of many main roads, which I have done. This is Park Avenue going south, and I am approaching that magical spot on 48th Street where you can actually get into Grand Central Station under Park Avenue. And this is a place I really enjoy riding on. And notice the escalator is no problem. I didn't even have to fold it, didn't have to do anything. It's so compact, nobody has ever raised an eyebrow. And so this is that underground place where you can go on this mirror smooth surface from 48th Street down to Grand Central where the trains run, which is about 44. So this is 4 blocks you are covering, and really just so easy to move. This is flat, this is not a downhill, but you kick 2 or 3 times and this thing just goes by itself, and it is so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to the trip. I'm not saying where I'm going before I get there to make it more interesting, but I'm definitely going to be putting up a lot of travel footage. The technical videos are going to stay. In fact, I expect to expand them as well, as I'm probably going to have more time on my hand, and I'm trying to permanently downsize as much as I can so I can concentrate on work instead of constantly worrying about everything, the apartment, the car, the what you're going to put on. And here I am at Grand Central Station, completing the last scooter ride in Manhattan, probably for a long time.
I'll be back.